Hello, and okay, it's about to started it.
Okay.
Hello, and welcome to our live streaming of the elections in Chile. We call it Election Live on Global South World. My name is Ismail Kwe, and we have our reporter who is in La Paz, Bolivia, and she is covering the Chilean election. Welcome, Lucia.
Thank you, Ismael. Hi, everyone. I'm happy to be here and cover the Chile's elections.
Well, it's quite an interesting day because the Chilean election is going on and it's mandatory, which is something that is not really common when it comes to elections globally. Can you tell us why is it mandatory for everyone to cast their votes, and also what is the consequences of not casting their votes in Chile?
Okay, well, in Chile's 2025 elections, vote is mandatory for all Chilean citizens. This means that if someone doesn't not go to vote, they might receive a financial penalty. The idea is to make sure that more people participate in the democratic process. There are some exceptions, for example, people who are sick, people who are far from their voting poll, citizens who are abroad on election date, or people with a certificate disability. These groups do not need to pay penalty, but of course, in the majority of the people, they need and it's a mandatory to go to vote.
But is this usual for the elections in Chile? In Chile, is it mandatory all the time, or what's the case? What's the background?
This is the first elections with the mandatory vote. This became after a reform in 2022. Well, they approved that the elections will be mandatory, and this don't happen since 2012. So this is kind of historical in this decade. For first time, this decade will be mandatory.
Well, that's quite interesting. So, give us some background. How many people are expected to vote in this election? Could it be the entire voting population because it's mandatory?
They're expected to vote. I can give an exact number, but well, these elections are important because comes after many difficult years, some social problems since 2019, a long debate about a new constitution and economic problems. So the people want a change and stability. The vote will decide if the country goes in a more social direction, like with Hara proposes, or more conservative and security focused path like CAS proposals.
Oh, that's quite interesting. And we saw elections in Bolivia, where you are right now. And how did that one go? And how can we relate that to that of Chile? What may be the possible outcomes?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Yes, I'm talking about the elections that was held in Bolivia, which we are expecting to go for the second round. How is that related to that of Chile? What are the similarities, and also what may be the possible outcomes for that one as well?
Okay, well, we have eight candidates in Chile. From these eight candidates, we have like four principal candidates, but two are leading the polls. The first one is Janet Jara, who talks about more social rights. She wants better pension, stronger public health care. She has a more progressive ideology. She represents the left, the far left, no, the center left ideology. And well, in the other side, we have Jose Antonio Cast, who focuses on security, immigration control, and well, he represents the far right ideology. These both represent two very different ideas for Chile's future. And well, many political analysts mention that they can go to a second round because they are leading the polls. And well, if no one of them in this first round get a majority of 50%, well, they will go on second round on December.
Okay. Well, what are the people saying right now? Boric, the outgoing president of Chile, he has cast his vote. He went to the station, the polling station, with his daughter, and process in Chile. However,
Oh,
what are people
sorry.
saying? They excited. He's leaving. Is he? I mean, open to let go of the presidency, and also what basically is our atmosphere out there?
Many people are unhappy, kind of unhappy with with the Boric government, even though he made some social progress like pension reform or reducing working hours. Critics says he didn't do enough on crime, security, and the economy. And also, according to a report, he has completed only about 38% of his campaign promises. And well, this is a very low percentage of what he did. Some say he underestimated how hard it is to run the state. Let's remember that Gabriel Boric is the youngest president in Chile, so many criticize he because of his age. Yes, the government of the President Boric has faced several security problems. During his time in office, crime became a major concern for many people. Chile saw more cases linked to organized crime, including trafficking and even some members of the military were investigated for involvement in these networks.
Okay. Okay, so give us some more information as to the elections. How many people are contesting, and how many of them are new in the system, and also what are we to expect by the close of polls?
Oh, sorry, can you repeat? It's just I can hear you very well.
Sorry, so I'm asking if you can tell us what are the basic democratic processes in Chile? How many people are contesting the elections, and also what are the expected outcomes?
Okay, Chile has a democratic system. They change of president every 4 years. And it's according to the voting that is happening right now. If no one of them get a majority of 50%, they will go to a second round, as I mentioned before. And after some problems in 2019 with the former president Sebastián Piñera, there are new reforms like this, new reforms and new ideas like this mandatory vote, who the people can to improve this democratic uh, to this democratic thing. Uh, well, the in general aspects.
Okay. And there are eight candidates, I understand, who are running. And the front runners, Janet Jara, who is representing the Communist Party, and that's also Jose Antonio Cast, who is the conservative party, and Johannes Kaiser, who is a libertarian. So these are the three top runners. And also, if none of them gets 50% of the votes, we're going to see a runoff in December. Can you tell us about their popularity? Who are these three people?
We have Janet Jara, who represents the center left, as I mentioned before. He talks about social rights. She wants better pension, a stronger public healthcare, and more health for workers in a very general way. He's leading the polls. He is the favorite right now. He's in the top one on the Chile's polls. Then we have Jose Antonio Cast. He focused on security and immigration control, especially immigration control. He talked pretty much about the control that he wants to make in the Chile-Bolivia border, especially the Chile-Bolivia border, because of the legal migrations and economic freedom. I remember that he represents a more traditional ideology, and he wants stronger policy and more private sector activity. Then we have Johannes Kaiser, who promotes free market policies and lower taxes. He's in the third position. Well, he also is like dividing he's divide the bloc of the far right vote. Well, I also want to mention Evelyn Maffei. Who is the fourth place in the polls, who focus on economic stability and pension reform. I want to mention these four because they received the most public attention because of the proposals and the support they have built. But of course, the two first place are Janet Jara from the center left and Jose Antonio Cas for the far right.
And age for the candidates hasn't been a problem, really, because even the outgoing president is not that old as it is in some other parts of the world, like in Africa, where we have a lot of the leaders being in their 70s and 80s. Um, how are Chileans really reacting to these candidates? Are they having a lot of support in their home regions in Chile?
Mm, well, I don't know how the people react to this candidate. Of course, there are more sympathy with Janet Jara and Jose Antonio Cast, but I can tell if how the candidate or the limitation of the candidates are. I don't have that information, but of course, I think it's more easy here in Latin America.
Okay. Okay, now the issues that are dominant in the public space, what people are talking about is crime and then immigration. And a recent poll, which was done in October by Activa, ranks these issues highest among the electorates, followed by unemployment and then healthcare. So crime has been a very major issue. Although Chile has traditionally experienced lower violent crime rates than other countries in the region, but recent increases in organized crime, such as and theft and corruption, have really shifted public perception. So, what exactly are the main issues that people are behind? Is it the unemployment? Do we have a more younger population expected to vote? And what are really the issues that they are looking forward to getting solved? And which of the candidates is taking up some of these issues?
Like you mentioned, we have crime and immigration dominate voter concerns. According to this poll by Activa, this issue ranked the highest among the electorate. Of course, the far right candidates talks pretty much about the more immigration control. For example, Johannes Kaiser talks about that he wants to close the border between Bolivia and Chile, responding to these illegal immigration concerns in the Chilean people. And then, of course, like I mentioned before, also Jose Antonio Cas mentioned this problem. All his speech focused on this problem, on the illegal migration, especially in the border between Bolivia and Chile, because there are some proposals that want to close this border or put some more difficulties for the immigrants to cross this border. There are other problems that, like unemployment, like you mentioned. This problem were focused more by Janet Jara, who talks more about social issues like healthcare, public healthcare, and the unemployment. And she's the favorite right now because she's trying to solve at the beginning these social problems, then the migration problem, because she didn't talk pretty much as the others about the migration control.
Okay. Well, that's quite interesting. Well, let me just give some updates. We have a number of people voting already, and 50 million people are expected to vote today, and the eligible voting age is 18. Also, this vote is mandatory, which means everybody is supposed to vote. And we have 155 deputies, and 23 of 50 senators are also on the ballot, and 8 candidates are running. Front runners include Janet Jara, that's a woman, and she is a member of the Communist Party. And we have Jose Antonio Cast, who is of the Conservative Party, and then Johannes Kaiser, who is from the Libertarian Party. Jara is 51, and she's tipped to win the elections. And if she doesn't get the 50%, then they're going to go into a December runoff where it may be difficult for her to win because there's going to be the majority side, which may may make it difficult for her to win that election. So these are some key points to note during these elections. Is there anything else you want to tell us, Lucia?
No, I think no. I think that we give a general view of this day, of this elections, Chile's day, and well, a little of the background, a little of the candidates, and I think that from my side is everything I can say for this moment, this initial moment.
Okay, so keep following up on this election for us, Lucia. We'll come back with another live later on. This is Global South Wales Election Live, and our spotlight is on Chile, where there's an election ongoing. 15 million people are expected to vote, and we are expected to see either a president or a runoff. It depends on who gets the 50% plus mark. Anyone who gets it wins. If no one gets it, then we're going to go for a runoff in December. This is Selection Live. Follow us on Global South World and on all of our platforms on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, and even on X. We are streaming live on all these platforms. Like our pages, subscribe, and also visit globalsouthworld.com for live updates of this election on the website. We are giving you live feed and live updates every minute, every second, and anytime anything happens. Follow us and don't just leave us because we are with you on this. Thank you very much for following through and also for watching. I'm Ismail Akwe, and from Accra, Ghana. Lucia is also in La Paz, Bolivia. See you soon.